7.4 on page 8. We're going to put together a few of our concepts together for today's lesson. So let's first off graph this line. Y equals 3x plus 2. So y equals 3x plus 2. What's my slope? What's my y-intercept? Yep.
Slope is 3, y-intercept is 2.
Perfect. Alright, so let's do a quick little sketch right here. Okay. So x and y axis. So y-intercept is 2 right here. And then my slope is 3, so I'm going to go up 3 and over 1 from the y-intercept. So up 3 over 1, there's my point, there's my line. So drawing that line took me 30 seconds. Okay, on your test, it should also take you only about 30 seconds.
Can I borrow a ruler? I have a sharpener. Damn, bro.
And
your card. And some food.
Alright, here you go.
Can I also order Uber Eats?
Alright, and then for the second equation, we have y equals 3x minus 2. What's my slope? What's my y-intercept there? Try it.
So the slope is 3, the y-intercept is -2.
Perfect. Okay, so -2 right here. And then I'm going to do my slope. Again, up 3 over 1. 1, 2, 3 over 1. Okay, there's my 2 points. And let's draw the line. Okay. So looking at these two lines, what can you say about them?
They look parallel.
They look parallel. Good. Okay, well, how can you be sure that they really are parallel? I can't just say they look parallel. Jimmy?
They have the same slope.
They have the same slope. Okay, so we conclude about this before. We said that if they're parallel, they have the same slope. Okay. So when you justify your answer, make sure you don't just say they look parallel. You have to say because they have the same slope. What else? Okay. Now for this one right here, y equals 2/3 x minus 1. What's my m? What's my b? Yep.
The slope is 2/3 and the y-intercept is -1.
Right. Right. So again, let's plot that. And like this. Draw my axis, x, y. So -1. And then from that point, I'm going to do my slope, rise over run. So up 2 over 3. There's my second point. And I'm going to draw my line. Okay. Da, 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 da. Okay, there's my first line. Second line, y equals -3 over 2x plus 4. What's my slope? What's my y-intercept here?
Slope is -3 over 2 and the y-intercept is 4.
Right. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Plot my y-intercept first. Okay, there's my first point. And then from that point, I'm going to do my slope. So -3 over 2, down 3, 1, 2, 3, over 2, 1, 2. Okay, draw this line. And there's my second line. Okay, looking at these two graphs, what does it look like? Perpendicular. What's another word for perpendicular? What's another way of describing it? Yep.
They meet at 90.
90 degree, right. So in a graph, I can draw this 90 degree symbol, that square, to show that they are 90 degree. But again, I don't want to say they look 90 degree. Mathematically,
Since the slopes are negative reciprocals, then
Yeah.
they're perpendicular.
What?
Looking at the slope, there are negative reciprocals. Okay. Negative reciprocal slope. Okay. And mathematically, that's how I know they are perpendicular. I don't want to always spend time graphing. Okay, graphing, even though it only takes about 30 seconds to a minute to graph, but it still takes up time. So just looking at the equation, I can tell that they are parallel or perpendicular or neither. Okay, so right now in example 1 right here, I'm given the equation. Okay, I don't want to graph anymore. I just want to go straight to my answer. Give me another line that is parallel to this. Joshua?
Y equals 3x
Plus
plus 8.
8. Okay, good. What's another one? Stephen?
Y equals 3x plus 7.
Sure. All right. The key right here is if it's parallel, your slope is the same. All right. Can someone give me an example of perpendicular? Yeah.
Y is equal to negative 1 over 3x plus 1.
Good. And another one? Right?
Y equals negative 1 over 3 minus, 1 over 3x
Minus
minus 1.
1. Okay. Can I have plus 5?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I can have the same y-intercept for perpendicular. I cannot have the same y-intercept and slope for parallel. Okay. So all this, as long as the slope is negative reciprocal. Okay. So now let's connect what we did on Friday to today's lesson. Write the equation of a line that is parallel to y equals 3x plus 5 and goes through this point. Okay, so what does this sentence imply parallel to this?
The line has a slope of 3.
Right, so this tells you that my m is 3. I'm given the point negative 2, negative 6, which is my x and my y value. I have m, I have x, I have y. I can use these three to find
The y-intercept.
the b. Good. So y equals mx plus b. I'm going to sub them in. So y is negative 6. M is 3. X is negative 2. And then plus b. Right, Kailash? Mm-hmm. Okay. Negative 6 equals negative 6 plus b. What assignment are you doing?
I'm doing the tech
Tech assignment?
for the learning
It's like a big assignment. There's a lot of
Okay.
people that are struggling with it.
I finished the actual thing, but I have to do the learning reflection
What teacher?
Okay. When is it due?
Oh, no.
today.
Today. Ugh, okay.
I've always spent all this time watching.
Okay. So what's B? What's B right here? Yeah. 0, right? Because when you move that negative 6 over, it becomes plus 6. So B is 0. Alright. I have M, I have B. So what's my equation of the second line?
Y is equal to 3x.
Yeah, and that's it. So no plus 0, because if you write that plus 0, you'll lose half a mark. Huh? Should I take off half a mark each? Is that what you're suggesting? Okay. So if you lose a lot of mark, don't forget to thank Philip.
The same equation. Like y equals 3x plus 0.
For you, on your test, if I see that, I'll make sure I'll take off 5 marks. Just for you. Okay, so the purpose of this example is you're finding the equation of the second line. Alright, so I know some people are confused and think that why do I have to do all that? I'm given an equation already. You're finding the second equation. Okay, so that's what you're doing. Okay, so example 3. Write the equation of a line that is perpendicular to this and has the same y-intercept. Alright, so perpendicular to this. Can I tell what is my slope here right off the bat?
No.
Well, I know you guys are good, but normally it takes a few steps. Okay, so it's in standard form. In standard form, you can't tell right away. So what should we do? Steven?
Convert it to the y-intercept form.
Right, convert it to y-intercept form. So move the x term over, move the constant over.
Add the
Okay, so negative 5y equal negative 3x minus 40. As I moved it over to the other side. So don't forget to change signs. Yep.
Can you just like add y to make it not everything?
Oh, yeah.
Add 5y.
Yeah, you could. But you'll have to divide by 5 anyway. So I just did it this way to keep the consistency. Okay, so when you divide everything by negative 5, you get y equal. Yep,
3 over 5x plus 8.
perfect. Okay, don't forget the signs. Negative, negative is a positive. Okay, so the slope of this line is,
3 over 5.
but I don't want the slope of this line. I want the slope of my second line. So the slope of the second line, I use this 90-degree symbol to show the perpendicular slope. And it's going to be, Joshua? Negative 5 over 3 because it's the negative reciprocal slope. Awesome. All right. I have my M now. What's my B? Yep, Ryan?
You could just make it the same.
Which is?
8.
Okay. Yeah. 8. All right. So it's not you could, but you should because it does tell you. It does tell you to use the same y-intercept.
I didn't read the question.
And you should always read the question. I have my M, I have my B, so the equation of my second line is
Y is equal to minus 5 over 3x plus 8.
perfect. Okay. So again, purpose of these questions is you're finding the equation of the second line. Okay. So even though right here you rearranged it, it was still this line that you rearranged. But you're from this line, you're taking information from it to make your second line. Okay? So this is how you solve it mathematically. This was Friday's lesson. We know how to solve it mathematically now. But then for these ones right here, where it's parallel and perpendicular, can we solve these mathematically all the time?
Yeah.
Well, what if you have an undefined slope? Then you can't really solve it mathematically. So, easiest way to do these type of questions where it says like perpendicular or parallel to x-axis, y-axis, you know these always means like vertical or horizontal line. These ones, the easiest way is do a quick little sketch. Okay. These type of question, fastest way is by graphing it. Alright, so for this, let me do a quick little sketch right here. X, Y. So I want to write an equation of a line that's parallel to the x-axis and goes through the point 2, 5. So 2 and 5, 2, 4, 5. So it goes through this point. Alright. Parallel to x-axis. Does that mean I get a horizontal line or vertical line? Joshua? Horizontal. Right. So let's draw my horizontal line through that point. Okay, so what is the equation of this horizontal line then?
Y is equal to 5.
That's it. Done. No calculation involved. Just a quick little sketch that took 30 seconds.
If we don't draw a graph, will we use marks?
No. For a question like this, it's just like a one step answer. So a question like this will be 1 mark, and if you get it, you get the mark, because there's no calculation involved. Okay. And then here, same idea. I want a perpendicular to the x-axis. Perpendicular to the x-axis, and it goes through the point -4, -5. Oopsie. Oops.
You can just call it and you can say that you reflected it by accident.
Alright, so -4, -5, around right here. Okay, perpendicular to the y-axis. Are we talking about a horizontal or vertical line? This way or this way? This way, that's right, vertical. Okay, so I get this line right here. And what is the equation of this vertical line? Try out.
X equals
X equals
-4.
-4. Right.
Oh yeah.
Alright. Horizontal line is always y equal. Vertical line is always x equal. And that number is just where it crosses the axis. Okay. So that's why I was saying these questions where you get horizontal or vertical lines is easiest to just do a quick little sketch to figure out the equation. With a vertical line, remember the slope is undefined, so we can't substitute it into y equals mx plus b. Okay, it won't work. Okay, so there you go. And the last question right here. Given these 3 points, show mathematically whether the points form a right triangle. So what's the property of right triangle? One right angle. Can you have more than one right angle in a triangle?
In the 4th dimension, yes.
Right. So only one of the corners will make a right triangle. So here, instead of checking all 3 corners, if I just do again another quick little sketch, I can tell which corner is most likely to be the, if I do that quick little sketch, I'll get something like this. Okay, and then when I draw it, I can tell which corner is likely the 90 degree. Okay, which corner does it look like? A, right. So instead of checking it 3 times, doing the calculation 3 times, I cut my work down. I just have to check one corner. Okay. So based on what we've been doing today, we haven't done anything about angles. All right, angles is the last chapter. So based on what we learned so far with linear relation, how can we solve this, prove this mathematically?
Find the slope of AC.
Right, whoops. So compare the slope. That's why we've been working on it so long. And compare the slope of AC. Oh, it's not equal. It's compare. Okay, compare the slope of AB and AC and see if it's a negative reciprocal of each other. Okay, well, I'm given coordinates of points. So when I'm given coordinates, what's the easiest way to find a slope?
Delta y over delta x.
Double y over double x, okay. You make it sound so fancy. Y2 over y1 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The slope formula. Because you do have the coordinates, So it's as easy as just substituting into the formula. Alright, I'm gonna do for slope AB first. So I'm gonna call this my x1, y1, x2, y2. Oops. Okay. So y2, 0, minus y1, 7, over x2, negative 8, minus x1, negative 4. Alright, be careful of the double negative sign. So you get negative 7 over negative 4, which I can simplify to 7 over 4. Alright. Now I'm going to do the slope of AC. So I'm going to call this x1, y1 now, and point C to be x2, y2. So when I sub it in, I have 1 minus 7 over 6.5 minus negative 4. Okay. When I simplify this, I get negative 6 over 10.5. Now remember in chapter 1, I said fractions and decimals never mix. They're like rivalries. You can't put them together. Alright, so how can I convert this so that it's an integer over another integer? Yeah.
Divide both sides by like the top and the bottom by 1.5.
Okay. Alright, normally people won't see that I can do that 1.5. So if I were to do in steps first. Yeah, I can multiply everything by 2. I can multiply the top and bottom by 2. And when I do that, I get whole numbers. I get integers. Sorry, not whole numbers. I get integers. I get negative 12 over 21. Okay, I got rid of my decimal. So now I have an integer over another integer. I have a rational number. But this rational is reducible by 3. So when I reduce this, I get negative 4 over 7. Okay. What's the connection between these two? Negative reciprocal slopes. Reciprocal slopes. And so therefore, don't forget all this was, so if you got to this point, that's awesome. But you haven't answered the question. Therefore, Cheyenne?
Since the lines are perpendicular, there is a right angle.
Yeah, so yes, therefore, triangle ABC is a right triangle because of the negative reciprocal slopes. Okay, all that work to prove that it's a right triangle. Alright, in grade 6 or 7, you guys probably proved this by graphing and then said, yeah, it looks like it. But now grade 9, you do have to show it mathematically. And again, because we are not in the angles unit yet, how you solve it right now is using slopes. Okay? Alright. I trust me, I had students who gave me the answer. It's a right angle because I use my protractor.
Is that wrong?
Yes. Alright.
What
So
if you don't say mathematically solve it?
it will say show mathematically. I'm covering my grounds. Okay, so as I said, today's lesson was like, putting a lot of our concepts together. If you understood it, awesome, good for you. But if you have your ifs and buts, make sure you try these questions you do have to try it on your own to make sure that you do understand it. Some of the questions in the later half is more challenging. If you want the challenge, you can finish up the rest of the questions. There are some that are like requires the next step thinking. Okay, question.
Which questions do we have to do for homework?
Why do you brother? You sound like that's
Look, no, look what I'm pointing at. Look what I just circled like 10 seconds ago. Okay, so let's try these. You guys have a good 30 minutes to get started on this.